Blink. Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to my reading of chapter 6 of my book, Dancing with Demons, a love story by Laura L. Holloway. That's me. It's a nice overcast day here in Colorado. Some much needed rain, I believe. We've got an upset cat outside who's meowing, meowing, meowing. Poor darling. I wish there was something I could do for him. But if that's what you hear, that's what you're hearing. Orange Juice the cat. All right. Hey, something I wanted to ask you about. If you're watching this, first of all, thank you. I know it's super low-key, super unprofessional. The reason I'm doing it is just to have my book out there in the world in a way where, it can be read to people, where people can hear it read. And obviously I haven't done a formal audio book yet. That's going to be a little ways down the road. But yeah, I don't know, just figuring out how to get my beloved book out into the world with the resources that I have available to me. And this is one way I can do it. So, again, thank you so much for being here. And also, oh my goodness, it would be so helpful and heartening to me if you could hit the little like button. And if you want to hear more, you could hit the little subscribe button too. That would just make me feel really good. All right, so here we go. Chapter 6, Letting Go. We think that the point is to pass the test or overcome the problem, but the truth is that things don't really get solved. They come together and they fall apart. Then they come together again and fall apart again. It's just like that. The healing comes from letting there be room for all of this to happen. Room for grief, for relief, for misery, for joy. That's a quote by Pema Children. I will interject again here that the writing of this book has gotten to a difficult point for me. Even a couple of days ago, I was super revved up about it, feeling that all was going so smoothly, that really this endeavor of mine is turning out to be a piece of cake. Granted, this is after putting the project aside for several months, though thinking about it regularly, always in the back of my mind. When I got the COVID recently, presumably at an intimate Michael Franti concert, which was outdoors and so very lovely, and also a total dancing, sweating, laughing, hugging strangers love fest. So, worth the getting sick, one might say, but it completely knocked me on my ass. As in, all I could do was sleep, cough, and ache, and toss and turn miserably for days. While I was in that haze, and for a good couple of weeks afterward, it felt very much as though I had been on a medicine journey, like coming out the other side of a spiritual quest, and knowing it was time to begin writing this book again. If you've not seen the movie Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, you really must. If for no other reason, though there are plenty, then you will understand the voice in my head of Scott Pilgrim whining, "But it's hard." That is the voice I was hearing all yesterday afternoon and well into the evening, as I scrutinized the journal I've been scrutinizing, trying to find the bits and pieces which feel appropriate, fitting, and important for this book. For crying in the milk, I mean, geez. I am 5 chapters in and haven't even gotten through December of 2020. I haven't even gotten to where things get super hard. I mean, where I start to crash and burn and question reality and everything. I haven't even gotten to the part where Dan dies. It's hard, really hard, to read about after having not opened those journal pages since I wrote on them. It's hard to experience all those feelings again through the words. It's hard not to get drawn back into that loneliness and pain. So maybe that's exactly what I'm supposed to do with it again. Maybe the allowing for those sensations, the process of really feeling them and letting them in, maybe that is exactly what I've been getting at all this time. It is the dance of 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, then 3 steps forward again. I reached out to Beorn last night from the depths of my loneliness and despair. "Why so lonely?" he texted back. I told him about the journals I've been pouring through, how much emotion it's bringing up. He told me he'd burned his old journals because there was more sadness than he needed to hold on to. Because they were more sadness than he needed to hold on to, as he phrased it. I can understand that fully, and as I replied, mine are also full of redemption, gratitude, learning, and growth, especially over the past 2 years. I need to skip ahead to those parts. I'm getting bogged down in the painful parts before I began the journey work. I'm getting a hot flash. And so yes, and also, there are some pieces which feel important for me to include, even if only for sentimental reasons. Life feels hard sometimes, and as for this book, I guess I never really thought it would be easy. Not all the way through it, at any rate, just like life. Sometimes it's easy and feels like a dream. Sometimes it can feel like a freaking nightmare. You just keep on plugging through, or you'll miss all the bits of it. 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, 3 steps forward again. Sunday, December 13th, 2020. I puttered around the house a lot this morning, listening to the book The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer through Dad's old stereo system. Got a couple of projects done, spun in some circles too. I found myself on the landing amid the staircase, having plucked a couple old journals from the bookshelf. I sat on the carpet, reading them there. Journals from the days of living in Wisconsin on the goat farm, long before my Colorado life. I found a note from the summer of my New York City love, coming to live with me with his band while his band was on break from touring. In his handwriting, the small square of paper read, "I am having a good time. More kisses, please." I could almost hear his joyous laughter. I read an entry about lying in bed with the dreamy friend who stepped in after my summer love left, sealing that uncertain future's fate. About how I couldn't tell this friend, whom I'd admired for many years, what I was thinking when he asked me. I was unable to share with him, laying there, how profoundly, terrifyingly beautiful he was to me. I read about being in the basement recording studio of my Midwestern muse, the one I wrote of as a butterfly, how we were listening to the Elliott Smith CD, XO, we'd just bought at B-Side Records in Madison on State Street. It was then, he confessed, that when he'd read my writing entitled Good Friday, which I'd tucked for him into the front pages of the book Conversations with God, he realized that he was in love with me. Reading all these words made me cry. Sitting on that landing amid my staircase. Oh, my heart, my heart. So much beauty, so much passion, so much pain, so much exquisite love I have known in short bursts, so much poetry and grace. I was nearly in tears at the grocery store this afternoon after a masked-up friend punched me playfully in the arm, and I returned his gesture with a toothy grin obscured by my own mask. I felt desperate for that physical connection. Tonight, I just feel wretched, sobbing to myself. Against my better judgment, I texted something to Beorn about my kingdom for a bubble bath built for two. How vulnerable I felt even sending those words. But lo and behold, he replied with three little hearts and words saying, I can come see you tomorrow. Not a question, more a declaration, it seemed. And I burst into tears again. I cried and cried by the kitchen counter. Yes, please, I replied. He never did arrive. Tuesday, December 15th, 2020, 5:44 a.m. I was struck by an interview on the Rich Roll podcast yesterday with an Olympic swimmer named Caroline. The discussion was of trauma and how it manifests in the body, can even be passed along genetically, and how it creates obstacles on the path of, in essence, letting our true lights shine. This all plays into the resonating themes of my life, in my thoughts, about how we create our own realities and what that ends up looking like for us as individuals, as well as for humanity as a collective whole. I think about this so often, about what I am creating. It is a theme which has come up for me again and again and again over many years. The theme of how I process trauma, which has been boldly in my face for the past couple of years. Since Aspen, the Great Pyrenees, had that good little nibble on my legs. Releasing so many demons I hadn't realized were hiding deep inside of me. Quote, new trauma triggers old trauma, as a counselor later professed to me. Releasing so many fears and insecurities I'd been pushing down for years, but which always have their subconscious play on how I walk through life. I suppose I should be grateful to that big, toothy white dog who sent me to the ER to get torn skin stitched, to get punctures flushed and sanitized. I should be grateful for the scars now on my legs and in my muscle tissue, the ones that scream to me every time I'm around a new dog. Where did I go? I should be thankful to have this discomfort put so boldly in my face that I cannot turn away from it in good conscience. The trauma rises to teach me some things, to remind me of some things about who I really am. So, who am I, really? I mean, really. This morning, since shortly after getting up, I've had the Alanis Morissette song, All I Really Want, in my head. It feels so much to the point of where I am right now. All these visions I have of a home in the country, of the partner to build it with. Visions, sensations of the animals, both wild and domestic, of the gardens, of the greenery, and nurturing space all around. The space for our family, our friends, our loves. I see myself continuing on my path of learning and growth, continuing to write and to share. I feel the support, the security, the healing energy there. I can feel it in my heart, this vision that I see. I can feel it. Remember this feeling. This is helping me to hone my vision, these sensations. This is helping me find my own wisdom and magic. This is helping me to set my intentions and open to the possibilities, to let go and allow all of this to flow, to allow me to welcome unequivocally into my truth of who I choose to be. I hear my beautiful child stir in his bed in the room above my head. Let the fears and apprehensions visit me if they will. I will touch them like a feather to bubbles. I will acknowledge them and let them go. I will feel and see and hear the encouragement around me. All signs point to fulfillment of the dream I have long been having, of it taking form in this three-dimensional realm. The time has never has never been better to plant these seeds and nurture them, to allow them to grow, allow this vision to flow. Trust and trust and trust. Allow this vision to grow. That's funny. I literally just sent a message to a friend yesterday about just things going on at the farm here, and I was thinking about the metaphor of planting seeds and then tending them. Anyways, sorry. I digress. Okay, back to... Can you hear poor Orange Juice outside meowing? Poor buddy. I wish I could let him in. He is an outside cat. And Freya, the inside cat, would devour him. Okay, Wednesday, December 30th, 2020, 7:14 a.m. Full moon setting over the mountains in a lavender sky, the very shade, I swear it, that I envisioned in the flows of an abundance meditation I was listening to half an hour ago, the one I opened my eyes from, feeling enlivened, inspired, invigorated, feeling optimistic in a way I have not felt for several days. My God, the sky is so beautiful now as the full round moon dips closer to the snowy peaks, as they begin to reflect the softest shades of pinky orange from the other end of the sky. I was asking Fisher yesterday, as we drove home discussing what we appreciate about our townhouse, what we should choose to create in a home that we built ourselves. I told him I will love to have windows all around the house, pointedly absent from our townhome, due to the Siamese twin nature of such structures. Because I do so love to watch the rising sun and the moon as it travels across the night sky. I love to wake up to its cool and soothing presence in the darkness, an ethereal friend who has been watching over me like a child, where I sleep and dream, assuring that I am safe. Dear child, sleep and know that you are safe. I can feel that peace inside of me. Again, I will express, I am so grateful for our home right now. I'm so grateful for the comfort and luxury of this place, which was my father's, he with his impeccable taste. I am so grateful for the protecting, guiding elements of the presence of my dad, which I feel lingering here, sometimes mischievously, as we ready ourselves to continue stepping forward into the next versions of our dreams, to decide and then act upon what we choose those visions to be. This is our warm and loving pausing point. This is the place to get our bearings and gain insights before stepping forward once again with balance and powerful grace. This is the gentle flow of the moment, this moment, to reflect upon all that I've learned and am learning. All these insights and epiphanies and creative power that is building in my chest, building in the ether around me. These visions become clearer of who I choose to be. My greatest challenge historically has been getting clear on what I want. I remember Nana lamenting to me in my late 20s about my seeming lack of a future, family, career path. Honey, you're good at so many things, you just have to pick one. It has often been my stumbling block. Perhaps my reason to proceed through life so gingerly, at a snail's pace, some might say. The universe is patient with me and will wait. What do you choose to call forth, dear one? What do you choose to create? In your heart of hearts, what visions do you hold? What do you truly believe? Lucian, what do you truly believe? Believes he is a young cat. You create what you truly believe. Remember this always. Remember it again and again. Now, my darling, my precious one, choose what you will believe. Thoughts plus words plus action equals creation as we choose our own reality. Thursday, December 31st, 2020. Sometime after 5 a.m. Hang on, I gotta get comfortable. Coffee and goat milk. Cat loaf purring at my feet. Today is the last day of 2020, and I'm sure there will be many who will say, "Good riddance." Beorn said to me yesterday, standing outside the library while still in my embrace, that this is going to be the best new year yet. I added that the next one will be even better, and the one after that will be better still. At least, that is certainly what I can hope for myself, and for anyone else, if they so wish. That things can just keep getting better and better from this point forward. It is only a question of how we go about creating that. That's what I want to know. That's what I'm striving for. That's what I'm listening and watching for as often as I can. One moment at a time, one footstep in front of the other. Excuse me. I met up with Beorn on the street outside the library yesterday. For only a few minutes, we'd agreed, and he was heading to work to blow up avalanches, and I was heading out to clean horse stalls at the barn. I felt so grateful to see him again in the flesh, as I had not since our first nature walk 5 weeks earlier, with only erratic communication since then. It seems funny and surreal, like some dream of a man I'm curious about, but who is mostly composed of ideas I've come up with in my own mind, fueled by images and words he's sent me directly, with blanks filled in by other images and poetic rants he's posted on Facebook. Then there he was. See, I didn't make him up. Walking toward me on the snowy street, all baseball cap and sunglasses and dirty Carhartts of a working man, so hot. With his Melanzana hoodie over strong shoulders, torso, and arms. He lifted me easily from the ground, no small feat at my COVID bonus size. And I laughed, wrapping my legs in clunky muck boots, all baby monkey style, around his slender waist. He held me gently, like an old familiar lover, or maybe like some long-lost friend. He held me in the sweetest embrace, right there by our small-town park, for God and everyone to see. Oh, to breathe that manly sweetness of his neck, of his curly hair. He smelled amazing, like wood. I told him so, with arms wrapped firmly around his shoulders, my chin tucked into the crook of his neck. Come here, Lucian. I always smell like wood. I always smell like wood, was his reply, muffled into my scarf. Oh, to kiss his bearded cheek. The handsome silver peppering of his face, only distantly wondering at photos he'd sent. That he said he'd taken the week before, though I felt sure that in them his beard was fully black. I do not know the mysteries of this man. I only know that my body comes aglow at his touch, at the feel of his strong hands, at the joy in hearing him say that now he does not want to go to work. To breathe him in as our faces turn toward one another, our lips meeting in the most gentle, lingering kiss. Oh, such bliss, to feel his beard against my chin. This is a grand beginning, I thought to myself, holding on firmly to him. A grand potential for what may be explored on down the road. In that moment, it was perfect and beautiful, and magically surreal. If there is more of that to be relished and explored, well, I will have it, please. I will welcome more. Cat. Cat in my lap, you can't see. I let loose my grip, slid back to the ground. Reluctantly, he let me go. With both of us beaming toothy grins and wishes for a happy new year, we parted ways as the sun set slowly in the west. Okay, what do you think, Lucian? Should I adjust this, or is it going to fall over? Let's see what happens. I'm in a little more of a state of repose. I am reposing with the cat. Okay, January 2nd, 2021, 6:15 a.m. Can you hear the rain? It's raining. 6:15 a.m. This morning I came down the carpeted stairs from our bedrooms in the dark, cradling 2 drinking jars in my arms. I was thinking about the idea of being a spirit in a body versus being a body with a spirit. I'd been reading about that again last night in Conversations with God, Book 4, and remembering Rich Roll saying in one of his interviews that when he first got into rehab, someone asked him which he believed he was. At the time, he'd replied, "I don't even know what that means." As I ponder that notion, I really felt it in my body, the feeling of truly being a spirit within a body, for the sole purpose of having this experience we call life. In the dark, I took what I thought was the last step to the landing, instead finding my foot falling upon air. Down I went, landing hard on the floor, with my legs crumpled awkwardly beneath me, with my elbows bracing my fall. Amazingly, the jars I held did not break, staying securely within my grasp. Curiously, I'd heard myself laugh as I went down. I felt no startling or fear. As I gathered myself easily to rise from the floor, I mused about how the landing had not hurt me one bit. It was funny. With that idea of being truly spirit, inhabiting a body, it was as though my spirit decided to take my body for a brief flight, airborne for that moment, free. Lucian, that's not going to work. There we go, baby. Oh my, I thought, to carry such liberation into every moment of every day. What a glorious blessing that would be. Tuesday, January 5th, 2021. 7:33 a.m. The mountains seem to be obscured by a magical mist this morning, a veil of purples and pinks and blues. The morning sunlight stretches out across the valley to lay golden upon the evergreens at the mountain's base, and the patches of white snow among the clusters of trees. It is difficult for me to write about this, about so many feelings swirling around like bats from a cave, like some tempest of emotion. I shared some thoughts in a Facebook post in his honor yesterday morning, accompanied by an old blurry photograph of me and Dan in his apartment in Madison when I visited over Christmas while home from Arizona, so it must have been early 90s. He had one arm around my waist, the other akimbo, with fist perched at his hip, his blurry face turned toward me, beaming. What a curious and caring friendship we always had. When I received the message Saturday morning from the girlfriend I didn't know Dan had, I had the same sort of moment I remember 15 years ago, of my world spinning as I looked at the plus symbol on a pregnancy test, a distinct sense of reality shifting all around me. Part of me could not believe that it could be true. A deeper part of me knew that it was. Dan was dead. My friend was gone. Could this really be? But he just texted me the day before New Year's. He just told me he missed me and he would see me soon. I messaged his girlfriend back immediately, asking if she would please call me. When she told me the news again over the phone, my first words of acknowledgement were, "Motherfucker," and I began to cry. I may not have been completely surprised by the news, but my sense of heartbreak was complete. Motherfucker. So, this is what he chose after all. Oh boy, these are some uncomfortable feelings. Stop eating now, Laura. You are full. Step outside into the light of the rising sun. Good job. Now, write. Dan's girlfriend and I spoke on the phone yesterday morning for what felt like a couple of hours. There is a lot of information for me to unpack, and this morning is not the time in which I wish to commit to this work. This morning, what I wish is to continue attending to my own needs and to the needs of these beloved creatures. I have dog clients waiting alone at their home while their human parents are still at the hospital in Colorado Springs, praying for their infant daughter's life. There is so much in life, so much to choose, so much to move forward with. Bottom line is, Dan left his body. He will not be coming from Madison to visit me. He will no longer be texting me or calling me on the phone. All of that is over, settled once and for all. He is released from the body that was breaking down on him after so many years of misuse and neglect. If a grand shift had been on the horizon for him, this is it. It is done. His girlfriend texted yesterday after our conversation, saying the autopsy results were, quote, unclear. He did have substantial coronary artery blockage, but not definitive, she wrote. Tox screens results may not be available for several months. Jesus. So, no facts to wrap our monkey brains around. No conclusive explanations to help us make sense of this or that. Maybe it was a heart attack. Maybe it was a drug overdose. We won't know for some time, which is fine. The takeaway for me is the same, either way. Life is precious. Our bodies are our temples. Love, learn, breathe, smile, drink lots of water. Keep on doing good things. Keep on being a good person. Let go when it's time to go. Move on. Thank you, Dan. I love you. Quote, "You catch what you're close to," by Reverend Stephen Furtick, regarding those to whom we choose to align. Wednesday, January 6th, 2021, 5:13 a.m. When the feeling crept into me gently on the evening of New Year's Day, I walked from Ryan's art studio, having exchanged I love yous with Fisher, and kissed the little dog Manu goodbye. I knew it would not stay, the feeling, not forever, not always. I knew that the feeling would come and go, as it always must. I was just grateful when it sat beside me on the sofa, hunkered in with smiles and contentment, alongside the dogs and cat and myself as we watched a movie which ended well. I was grateful to feel it wrapped around me when I climbed into bed. Tiny dog cradled in my arms at my chest, big dog pressed to the tops of my legs, and a smile lit gently on my sleepy face. The feeling kissed me sweetly, fed me beautiful dreams through the night. It was there when I yawned and stretched in the morning. I wondered if it might actually stay with me forever, this feeling. I wondered if it was my new reality. But no, not forever, not always, my dear. That is not the way of these things. You may as well wish for the sun to hang always in the sky, to never feel the dark kiss of night. You may as well try to halt the ebb and flow of the tides. All right. That concludes chapter 6. It's funny that, well, I don't know if it's funny or not, but it's nice that Lucian and his brother were in the very first video that I posted. Long time ago, it seems like. And now look how huge he is. He was so tiny back then. His brother's out in the house somewhere. I'm glad you were here. You must have been in the basement when I closed the library door. Okay. Thank you again. Thank you for joining me for my very low budget reading. Again, if you can, hit like and subscribe. That would really help my algorithms and make me feel much better about doing this. Yeah, whole nother conversation. Okay, thank you. Mwah. Love you. Goodbye.